What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof Major Championship Edition here, the second of the year, PGA Championship out at Southern Hills in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We got Mikey, Joe, and myself on the line tonight to kind of chop it up and get everybody ready to watch come, Thursday this week. I think it's starting pretty early, but without further ado, gentlemen, where are we calling from and what are we sipping on?
Boys, I'll start it. We're back. We're back in New Hampshire. Not drinking tonight. I've had drinks the past 2 nights, so we're just kind of settling down, watching the Yankees and enjoying this New Hampshire mountain air. So it's going well. Michael, what about yourself?
Crisp and clean. I can taste it from here. Coming from a slightly the air here is a little not quite as crisp and clean here in Chicago, Illinois, but coming here from my girlfriend Elizabeth's apartment, she made me a cocktail here. So it's gonna be I haven't touched it yet. I waited for the recording here for the first taste. So if it's awful, I'm probably gonna just look at the camera here, but I'm not gonna say anything bad because she's here. She can hear in the background. But it's a lemonade Malort orange liqueur with a little lemon peel here. So Malort, for those people out there that don't know, Chicago staple, kind of like a botanical. I don't know. It's just a botanical liquor. It's kind of like Kettle, the Kettle One botanical.
Oh yeah,
that's what
ones.
It's kind of what it tastes like. But here we go. First sip.
Mikey, when you said the title, I thought of the scene from Talladega Nights. He's like, I need you to take the French out of your mouth right here.
So
I like the lemon peel on that, by the way, too. That looks very fancy. It's a good look.
Such a class, as they like.
Such a class, exactly.
So it's well balanced. Malort has that botanical taste, so you get the sweetness of the lemonade right there, but then the Malort comes through, so it's not that sweet. It's kind of a little sour.
Oh,
but if you like Malort, you will like this one. So
right.
I'll have to bring a bottle home sometime because Jepson's Malort is a unique flavor. But Mr. Fontaine, what do you got there in West Hartford, Connecticut?
Yes, West Hartford, Connecticut, and I only have water right now. I got running around today a little bit with work and recording all this stuff and whatever. But the second we get talking about something, I'm gonna scoot out real quick and grab a Bud Light because they're in the fridge right there. So I just haven't had time to pop out and grab one, but we'll get one. We got water right now. We're just hydrating. It's early, but yeah, you gotta we'll get to the Bud Light in a second.
Hey, you hydrate now. The boys out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they will be hydrating this week. Steamy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Southern Hills Country Club, originally designed 1930s. Perry Maxwell, big redesign. Gil Hans. That's kind of been the talk this week. I don't know how much you guys know about Gil Hans. Obviously, did the Olympic course. I think he did some work at Marion, a couple other places, but looks really cool. Looks like we have some cool runoffs. Really kind of odd shaped bunkers. And the players seem to be kind of on both sides of it, right? We have a lot of people that are really excited for it, and some people are like, damn, this is going to be a tough challenge, especially with the firmness and the wind that we expect. But Matt, first thoughts on Southern Hills from kind of what you've seen just on Golf Channel or Golf Media?
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it right at the end there. I think everybody seems to love it. I think they're just a little nervous about the conditions because as much as it's going to be hot, it is right now down there and it will be Thursday, Friday in the upper 80s. It drops to 60 on Saturday. They got a big cold front swinging in. So the wind is going to be bonkers on Thursday and Friday, like minimum 15 miles an hour, throughout the day with gusts getting up near 30. So we might have I don't think it'll be as ridiculous as the Players was this year, but we're going to have some conditions those first 2 days. And even without those, I think you're getting at, this course seems to be, from all I've heard, I don't remember much from 07 and it's got redone since then too. So it's I don't have a lot of mental stuff going on, where I can picture any of the shots or holes or anything like that. But everything I'm hearing and seeing is saying that it's Augusta-esque where there's not a ton of flat lies, a lot of elevation changes going on. And when you combine that with wind, we are going to see some shots, good and bad. We are going to see some shot making, and it's going to truly separate the ball strikers from the hitters this week. Because if you get one a little bit of an upslope and you're into the wind and or it's into the wind off the right, can you knock that down and put a little cut spin on it and still hit it at the number you're trying to hit it? or are you going to just force your shot? It's going to get hammered by the wind and you're going to make, and you got issues, because it seems firm and fast. And it's like, it's a course that penalizes you based on like slopes and things like that around the green and like runoffs versus it just being rough and the ball stopping. So with all these conditions coming in, I'm going to be glued to the TV, especially early Thursday, just to kind of get my bearings on what goes on out there, because I think it's going to be like some majestic shit going on there with the ball striking. Like we're going to see some shots, like guys like JT, like I after what he did at the Players, like Cam Smith too, these guys that just do crazy shit with the irons and move it all different ways and whatnot. I cannot wait to see what they do in this win. I don't know if they're going to play great or if they're just going to get wrapped up in it, but I'm excited to see what comes of it. Joe, you got any familiarity with Southern Hills or any memories from
as you were talking, I'm just kind of obvious. It looks awesome, hope the one day play it. But no, we talk about conditions, and I wanted to bring up, I don't know, did you guys see that Tiger? He had a little 2-iron in the bag instead of a 5-wood. So
gonna be firm out there. You gotta get that stinger going.
Firm out there. So all this wind, I don't know. We might see some fun shots. And I didn't know if you guys saw that or not. So I think they were saying I'll probably take the 5-wood out of his bag, put the 2-iron in, and
yeah,
I'm excited to see some of that. But I mean, as far as the course goes, no, I don't know much. It does. It looks fun and not fun. It looks hard, I should say, like very hard. Are they playing it at, what was it? I mean, just about 7,500 is what it's on the course website.
Yeah, my guess is, I mean, I think that unless the wind is like forecasted to be absolutely insane, I think we're probably going to see it in that like 7350 to 7450 range. I doubt, they never tip it out, and you don't want them to, because you want them to play a hole shorter, or whatever the case may be. But my guess is we're going to see it over 7,300 yards. If it's firm and fast out there, and people are hitting drivers, landing 310 and flying and going 350, you got to, right? So
it looks like it's just such a big piece of, like, there's just like, you're just out there and it's just, I don't know how to, like, what I'm trying to say. It just looks like it's a huge piece of property. And
that was a big piece of property. And
yeah,
I think to your point too, like there's a lot of flexibility with the tees from what I'm hearing too, from a lot of guys that are, playing, getting their practice rounds in and stuff like that, where like, I think 17 or something like that. It's like a shorter 4 that they can make like borderline drivable with how firm it is out there, and like really provide some fireworks. I'm assuming that'd be like a Saturday thing, to try and get moving day, give it a little extra juice. But I'm excited to see it. I just think that, firm and fast is like the funnest way to watch golf. It's just the ball's on the ground longer, and they paint the picture a little bit better. You don't just like lose the ball in the air and then see it come down like a crater and like stay somewhere. Like you see shots kind of move, and there's like the oohs and the ahs get to happen when it's on the ground a little bit longer, versus just like, oh, there it is, nice shot, like. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I think it's going to be like one of the better PGA Championship like venues that we've seen in quite a while. Kiowa was awesome last year, but I think outside of Kiowa, we kind of get like,
I feel it's just like a different venue. Like, how often are they out in Oklahoma playing golf? Like,
right.
This goes back to me, like in Nebraska. Like, imagine if they played something at Sand Hills. Like, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
It's not something you see. But I think that's what makes it kind of so exciting and appealing. So I'm very excited to watch some of this.
And like, furthermore, I'm just the big thing that I'm hearing, right, is that like, no matter if people are saying they love it or they hate it or it's playable or it's difficult, the one thing that's kind of really been salient was like, there is a tremendous amount of slope on these greens. So with that, we're going to kind of have a couple things, right? We're going to have these storylines of, did they put some terrible pins out there, and did they fuck over some players? Like, and that's always some kind of funny commentary.
Love that drama,
right? Checking on Twitter as like, all right, well, they got the greens up to 11.5 and they put this pin there. Like, they're just, they're looking to get called out there. We're looking for a Zach Johnson, they've lost the golf course out there situation. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Like, the media will be on it. And I think we're at a kind of a cool place in golf media, like people that aren't afraid to be like sarcastic and make fun of shit. So like, we're going to have a good time with that. But But then also with the slope of the greens, like if it's firm out there and if the slope is truly what people are saying and we get some kind of odd pins, we're going to have things like maybe that 340 hole. Like it's great you drive it, but like, if you can't drive it up by the green, you have to lay it back to a number to be able to control trajectory, to get to a pin, to use a slope appropriately. So I think like that's the fun, and that's what makes these guys so good is like that we can see a hole played multiple different ways, and you can still make a birdie or double bogey doing it in both ways. So I think that'll be fun. And because we're also kind of in this like dichotomy right now of like young superstars who bomb it, and kind of like this second tier or kind of the older guys, like even the Tigers of the world, or like the Billy Horshells that like just they're great players, but they got to get it done a different way. And because they're so good and they've had so much success, like they can. But we got a lot of different storylines just from like a golf course perspective. But I mean, the golf course is whatever, right? At the end of the day, it's all about kind of these other storylines that are going on. But kind of want to get your guys' take on Joey. You're a big Phil guy. What are your thoughts on him not being here this year? Maybe run us back how you're thinking about him as just as a person and like what you think of him. And then
I will never think differently of Phil as a person because I don't know the fucking guy anyway. So like who am I to judge? I don't know. I mean, obviously I've heard the things he's said, but like there's some articles come out about like he was really, really bad in debt, like, and that's why everything's happening. Like, how much in debt was it? Like, I honestly don't know. I haven't had time to like look into this.
Like, to the extent where like all the money he's made, like he's like second highest earnings on PGA Tour history, right behind Tiger, like 150 on course and probably like 10 times that in endorsements throughout his career. Like to the point where like he doesn't have a lot left. Like to the point where like he doesn't have much left because of.
Now, do we think it's? I mean, I did see.
I doubt it's that bad, but it's got to be relatively significant for like nobody's come out and argued it, right? Like I feel like you've heard that from 7 different people that like it's bad, and nobody's really come out and be like it's not that bad. Like nobody's really said that, so it's got to be pretty bad, Like I just. But at the end of the day, it's
obviously you always have that rivalry between the two, and it's not even like it is anymore, right? But it'll always be that constant battle between those two. But it's fun to have Phil around. He's fun to watch, and I'm sad like this is all just kind of happening, and I hope the dude works out. But like I did see as well is like another reason why they think he was like not playing, because like he just hasn't been playing well. He's just playing courses he's shooting in the 70s. Like that guy doesn't have a chance defending the title, so why even bother?
I think that's definitely a part of it. It's like one, the whole week would be media bullshit, and I'd have to answer all these questions and be borderline embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
And then 2, I'm gonna go out there and shoot 78, 77. Like why? Why bother? Like let's just stay home and we'll do it a week that's not nearly gonna be as ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Like the media storm that he would have to go through this week is like not even. To your point, like if I'm not even gonna play and feel good about myself being able to contend. Why am I going to go show up just to get absolutely crucified by the media all week?
Yeah.
Like, they'll do that another week.
They're saying it's sad he can't defend it, I guess, right? But like, who knows if he ever plays on the tour again? So it's like, he kind of went out on top. So not really, but
might just fade to black and just
So
go do whatever.
It's crazy to think like you really might never see him again on tour, which is
crazy.
It's nuts, but like I don't know. I and not to get into a whole nother conversation, but like, what can't we all just get along? Like, why can't they play? My question was, how they denied the PGA Tour denied the releases.
Yeah,
they like just went and still played.
They can, but they won't be allowed back. So like if they go, they can't. They'll be.
Isn't that what they were asking the PGA Tour to do? Like,
well, they were asking for a grant to go play in that event.
All right,
and come back and play in PGA Tour events after that event because
Okay.
that event
Still be a member. Still be a
yeah,
member.
because that event was only like
that's
it's like
where my misunderstanding was.
yeah, it's like an 8-event series, right? Or season, whatever you want to call it. So they're saying like, let me go play in those 8, and then I can come back and play here when I'm done with those 8 or whatever. And they're like, you can't get both ways because we sign TV contracts and all this stuff because you're a member of our tour and you're committed to playing X amount of events. There's we could do a whole podcast on that, but
no, exactly. Yeah, quickly. The other thing I was like, would they view it on Golf Channel? Because like, is Golf Channel like with PGA Tour? Like, it's the Golf Channel. Like, why can't they show some LIV or Live, whatever you want to call it?
they're doing it on YouTube because Golf Channel is because
Golf
Channel is a product of the PGA Tour, so it'd be competing interests.
I don't know this fucking shit. I should, but I don't.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, Joe.
Yeah, and if it's on YouTube, like, and say it's remotely successful, who's to say that, like, and I know there's media conglomerates, right? And you'd have to figure out, where does NBC owns PGA Tour, like PGA Golf Channel, and like, obviously ABC or whoever, they also like have some tournaments, but like, who's to say that TNT is not going to come out and buy the rights to broadcast that in the US or something like that. I don't know, but I think
it definitely happen though, for sure.
If they come out and
if they come out and if they're able to, like, the whole reason why they can't get a TV deal is because nobody know who the fuck's playing in it yet. So like, if you're TNT, I'm not going to give you however many $1 million you're asking for the rights if I don't even know who the hell is playing it, so it's like, it's a whole web of just like a lot of talking, like nothing is on paper anywhere. So it's like really hard to figure out what the hell is going on, like it's tough.
Yeah, no, see, stuff I just didn't think of. I saw Ricky saying like he might, dude, Ricky, you might as well go to that, dude. You're
go get your cash, dude, because you're not going to earn much more out here.
Hey, shocked by those comments. I'm surprised you didn't say, yeah, this is my last tournament. I'm out of here, guys.
Ricky's playing this week. Come on.
I know.
Top 9 last year into the PGA Championship with, we had a couple. Is
there biggest odds does Ricky Fowler make a cut?
I don't know, but a couple great people got in. Ricky got in. Patty Harrington's in playing this week after a top 5 last year.
The Masters too.
Yeah, come on, guy's a stud. But like,
I hope Ricky plays. Imagine if Ricky just won. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be crazy.
How great, literally.
He played okay last week. The problem is he just like hits the ball out of bounds, and like the swing looks wonky. It does. Yeah. It does not.
It's got a misfire in there every like 6 holes.
What's his swing coach? Isn't it fucking
it was hard. It was who?
Gankis?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he's with Ricky. No,
he should be. They both swing it kind of funky. So,
but
anyways. Southern Hills though. Excited as
I was just gonna say. Anyways, outside of Phil, other storylines. I think the golf course, like, long story short, is like it makes them think a lot, which I really appreciate because it seems like we miss a lot of that on the PGA Tour these days with how good they are. That like they're able to just kind of blindly just bash away at a lot of places, not usually at majors, but I do appreciate when they get asked a lot of different questions and like truly have to think their way around a golf course. So I'm looking forward to that. But I also I think, since we're talking Phil, like, let's just address Tiger. Like, what are the expectations at a place like this versus Augusta, where he could play Augusta blindfolded, right? So like, was the performance we saw at Augusta making the cut, was that just the fact that the course knowledge is there and he can just map his way around with no issues? Or was the golf game solid enough where, given some warmer conditions, which I think will help his back, leg, etc., right? Like, he always plays better in warmer conditions, especially the last handful of years with the back issues and whatnot. Do we expect him to be able to, like, is making the cut kind of the line this week, or is there maybe potentially higher expectations for him going into a week like this, given that apparently we're just going to see him 4 times a year for a little while?
Which I think is scary, right? And it's probably something we have to maybe come to grips with, is that on a good year we might get him 8 times. We might get him at the majors, we might get him at Memorial, we might get him at the Players. Like, that's probably the high end of Tiger Woods, at least in the current state of who he is and kind of what his body looks like. But I mean, my expectation for him is that if the ball speed is a little bit better than it was in the Masters and the health is better, because clearly every single day he got worse at the Masters. His body didn't work as well as it should. Putting was not great. Like, I think he's one of those guys that he gathered a shit ton of data on himself at the Masters, right?
Yeah,
and all he did the last month and a half was use that information to get better. And if there's anybody who can get significantly better in 6 weeks, it's Tiger Woods.
Mhm.
So I think my expectation is that he probably comes out and he probably is well within the cut this week. You know, I would be surprised if he's not, you know, T20 or under T30, you know, after 2 days. I just think the way he game plans, he's going to shoot. He's going to come out and be prepared for this golf course. I don't think he shoots 75. Like, I just don't think that's really in the cards the first couple days. I don't know about the weekend. Like, I just don't know where his body sits playing 4 days in a row after prepping.
Endurance is tough. Yeah.
But like, he's going to prep as good as anybody out there and be ready to play. And if he hits the ball half decent,
is the course like, I mean, it's obviously not as undulating as Augusta National, but like, is there a lot, like, I know, and it's called Southern Hills, now that I think about it, but like
like Baker Hill.
So never mind, it is probably pretty hilly, huh?
Yeah, I think it is. That's why people honestly weren't sure if he was even going to play.
Yeah.
But like Mikey said, I think he's a guy that, you know, took in what he figured out what his body's going to react, how his body will react at Augusta, because that was the first time, right? So like, I think now he can game plan a little bit better for it. Like, and I think it's one of those things where like, make it, if it ends up being hard, he's such a mentally strong and like gonna grind it out and map his way around a golf course. So like, the harder it gets, like, I think he won't be shooting 75 like Mike said. I worry about him if it gets easy and people are making 7-8 birdies around. Like, I don't think he has the firepower right now to be able to do that, but like, he can figure out a way to make pars and like, you know, take advantage of the shorter holes, or when he hits a good iron, you know, like, so it's tough. I just think, it's the endurance thing's a question mark. I think if you put it in a vacuum and he plays 18 holes, he can obviously keep up with anybody. It's just, you know, can he do that for 72 holes while also all the prep work physically and mentally and like this week and everything else. So
I think the PGA Tour should make it legal for Tiger Woods only to use steroids.
They honestly might be, like,
you know,
who's to say? Who's to say?
I'm regulate it in a way, you know, just enough so we can just Tiger back. You know?
So he's just Superman and plays until he's like 70, and everybody's like, "How does he keep doing this?" And it's like steroids. Imagine that 30 for 30 in like 20 years. But yeah, I think, you know, for the cat, I think, I'm right with you, Mike. I think it's like I think T20 is the line now versus making the cut after what we saw at Augusta. Like, I think if he can, you know, hit it halfway decent, expect him to be right around like that 4 under number going into the weekend, and that should be plenty to make the cut the way these guys are talking about this course and the conditions we're about to see. So looking forward to seeing the cat. I think other than that, let's talk some of the big guys. Let's talk, you know, Scheffler, Rahm, Morikawa, JT, Rory. I think those are like the 5 betting favorites, give or take. What are your guys? Does anybody stand out there one way or the other? You know, is it just like, he's going to be in the mix, or is there like he's going to win or he's got no shot? How do we feel about those 5 guys? Anybody sticking out?
I wish I had more intake. I literally haven't watched golf since the Masters, so I don't know how anyone's playing. So I'm sorry, I don't have much on that. I'm excited, given I know Jordan played well, me being the Jordan guy I am. So I'm excited to watch him. I don't think, did you just say his name though? I don't really.
No, I just went by betting odds, so he's not in the top betting odd, but I do think he's gonna have a good week too. Because
I do. I know. I didn't. He's my honorary pick this week.
He's creative as hell.
Exactly, right? I feel like these. I'm just excited. I'm excited to see some guys play.
Inside tidbit. But so my cousin Lindsay works for the PGA, and she's been down there at Southern Hills for 2.5 weeks. I think like 2.5 weeks now, and she was out there doing some course setup and like marking off some spots, but she's like volunteer manager or something like that. And she said she watched JT and Jordan play a hole out there when they were there coming before. She said Jordan had some swagger going on. She just said like she just said like he was just like smoozing people out there and just like he looked happy. She's like JT was pretty like determined and pretty like focused, but Jordan was had a little swagger going on.
That's good. That's good mental vibes. That's what we like. That's what we like to see.
Swagger back.
But Fontaine, I mean, Scheffler, I mean, I watched a little bit last week and he was a little bit off, but he makes golf look really easy right now. And that's like, it's pretty scary. Very similar. I mean, obviously he's won at a greater clip than a guy like Morikawa, but like Morikawa made golf look really easy for like a 1.5 year period. It's not looking quite as easy right now. But again, like we've talked about this on the show a bunch, like he's a ball striker that if something clicks, like he could hit 65 greens like in 72 holes.
Yeah.
I don't think he will, right? And from all we know, like seems difficult, but like I don't know. Scotty Scheffler, I think obviously is the one that jumps out there. You know, if it becomes a shot maker's kind of situation with the wind and some firmness and whatever, JT, right? He comes to mind. You know, I think you were talking about it a little bit before, but like John Rahm, like he's just I don't know what he's doing right now. He's kind of an enigma, but like he's what, number 2 in the world? So like how do we not talk about him a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how little people have talked about Rahm going into this week. And it's like he's still like the best strokes gained, everything, you know, like Scheffler is right now, but like if you go past the last 3 months, like if you extend it back to 6 or 9 or 12 months, like Rahm still is there in total, you know. So it's like he's just like silent killer. I'm getting the vibes of this week where it's like nobody's really talking about him. He could just go out there and be like, fuck all you guys, like don't, like I'm still here, you know, like, and just beat the shit out of people this week, because I think he has the game to do that just about anywhere on the planet. Just a matter if he goes and does it. And I think the last couple guys I want to give some light on at the top there, like Rory and like Cam Smith too. Like I know they had a little disappointment at Augusta, and it's always interesting to see how people bounce back after 12. Like, you know, whenever people fall victim of the 12th hole, it seems like it lingers a while at Augusta. But I think everything we're saying about this course is right up his alley. Like creativity, iron play, you know, the runoffs around the greens, like he's so good at all those things. And Rory has finally, I think, I don't know if I said this here on the Gambling Lab, but like this might be the first major in 7 years that he has any momentum going into, like major to major, you know, like leaving Augusta this year must have been the first time he was actually like happy with a performance in a major since he won the PGA or whatever back in 2014. So it's like, this is the first time the first question he's asked isn't going to be like, hey, you missed another opportunity, but what do you think about this week? You know, like I think it would be like, that week was awesome. How do you carry that momentum into here for the first time in like 8 years? So I'm bullish on my guy Rory too. I think he's got good vibes. He grinded it out at Wells Fargo in the shitty conditions there. Like you don't see that out of him a lot. So like, I feel like he's in a good spot mentally, which is a big part of the battle for Rory lately. So I'm excited about Rory too.
Couple final points.
Crash and burn with Rory once again, huh?
I will. I'm gonna ride that ride.
Have I, you know, it's like this in Finau. Have I not taught you better by now?
Oh, I've given up on Finau. I don't stand on that leg anymore, but I'm never giving up on Rory.
You should.
Couple final little notes here before we kind of do, I know we kind of jumped into picks there, but before we kind of do formal picks, Brooks Koepka, I'm a little worried about. I mean, he's been withdrawing, like, but he still obviously has won 2 PGA championships, 4 majors, and shown up other places. Showed up last year at Kiowa. Probably should have given Phil a little bit bigger push down the stretch there. But you know, I think we'll let that one kind of foster there. But what this is kind of just a general question because we saw the outrageous prices there at the PGA Championship. What cocktail, what beer are you paying $18 for right now? Is there any one, Joseph?
No.
Is there any one?
I mean, like, no, no, but like you don't have an option when you're there. So I guess honestly, if I had to pick a beer that I had to pay that much for, I mean, it'd be a Miller. I don't want to say a Miller,
Like a 40-ounce Miller Lite.
you know, like I don't even want to do that, but like I don't know, IPAs haven't been like my favorite anymore. And like, especially if you're getting a tall boy of an IPA, like we were kind of talking about earlier, it gets warm. Like I'd rather drink a warmish Miller Lite than a warm IPA.
Facts.
So I don't know how much were like the cocktails. I didn't even see that on the picture.
Cocktails were like 12 ounces, like $16.
So you're better off just getting a cocktail.
Yeah. But it's gonna be like a half a shot, all ice, and then you're gonna get like you'd have to drink 9 of them to feel, like
Honestly, if I saw those going in, I would just try to sneak some nips in.
that's probably the play. If we're being honest, that's the play. Because I was going the same way. I was like, no beer is worth $18, but you give me a cocktail and I can somehow weasel in like a little kickstart into that cocktail, pay the $16 for a regular one, and then just add a nip in there, and then now we're getting somewhere. We got a chance.
Yeah, 16 for a double. That ain't bad.
That's not bad. You can work with that. Turn a double into a triple. Good to go. Just milk it. Walk around. Just get a little extra ice on the side. You're good to go.
Hey, do you guys know they're doing a fantasy thing similar as they do in the Masters?
Like their own app and stuff?
Yeah, I'm on the website. So it's a past PGA champion, player over 30, under 30, and then from the team of 20 of the PGA professionals that are playing in the event.
I like that. We'll have to give that some attention. Maybe do a little bogey proof league or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick my team right now.
Yeah, Dylan Newman played in the 2018 Mass Open. I got him a caddy.
There you go.
He was looking for a caddy all week. He was annoying, kind of annoying piece of shit, to be perfectly honest. But really good player, really solid player. I think he's an assistant pro somewhere in New York metro area, Connecticut area, Stamford. But interested to see how he plays. But he's a good player.
All right. Let's see. Anyway, like, what do you guys think? One more guy that I think, again, not being talked about, but like a world-class player, like Victor Hovland, like, where's he been the last, like, I feel like he's been in the wilderness the last month and a half, 2 months. He dominated the fall, the early Florida stuff. He was all around it. Disappointing Masters, and then like haven't heard from him since the Masters. Like, I don't know what to expect out of him this week. It sounds like, ball striking, all that stuff, like sign him up, like that's his specialty, but just no buzz around it. And I don't know if that's just he's under the radar, or if there's something more going on there that I haven't picked up on in the last month or so. But he went from being like second or third in the world to like not talked about ever. And maybe he's just not playing. I don't know. But a guy like that is interesting to me. And then Shane Lowry, I love this week. Shane Lowry this week, I'd have to look up his odds to win, but he is absolutely worth a little sprinkle play for a top 10, a win, whatever, just to kind of set it and forget it. And then all of a sudden look up Sunday and he's, T7, like just going into the day, and, keep an eye on him because he's been playing incredible golf honestly, this whole season. Like, probably should have won twice between the RBC Heritage and then the Sony before Augusta. Played really well at Augusta too. Like, his major record's been super solid. He won the Open 3 years ago now. Like, doesn't shy away from big moments. I think that's a guy that in that kind of second tier, below those big 8, big 10 guys that you think about all the time. He's like the guy I'm circling in that second wave of kind of guys that can compete this week.
Yeah. So Victor Hovland, I agree. He's kind of been a little blah the last little bit, but quick 12th in the FedEx Cup, 6th overall player in the world. Off the tee, 12th in the world, strokes gained, 3rd approach to green, 210th on the PGA Tour around the greens. In
not good.
So I think from a strokes gain standpoint, probably why we haven't seen him, right, is because if the ball striking is not pristine, he misses cut. Like, I don't think he doesn't miss cuts, right? But like he plays poorly because he just does not get the ball up and down at a PGA Tour clip like, the majority of other people do out there. So probably why we haven't seen him. Love Shane Lowry this week. Have been high on him all year. I think if it blows, guy's got big forearms. He's going to control the golf ball out there. Going to bash it out of the rough if he hits it in the rough. A lot of skill around the greens, good touch on the greens. Like he's a player.
Yeah, that's another good point too. Like, give the guy all the conditions in the world. He lives in that shit. He's an Irish lad. Like that's what he does. Like I that's my underdog or sleeper pick, whatever you want to call it, of like that next wave of players that is just he's popping on all the charts for me this year, and I just think that he's worth some attention, whether it's your daily fantasy cup lineup, shout out to TJ and the DFC crew, or you're just making some bank account plays of your own this week and kind of running with him because he's a stud.
Yeah, couple people I want to give some love to. KH Lee, certified killer last week. TPC. I know this is not TPC Craig Ranch, but you don't go out there and what do you shoot 30 under or something like that?
Like 27, I think. Yeah.
Something like that. Defends his title there. Has really been a pretty good player for, going on 3 or 4 years now. Matsuyama, I'm a little scared because I saw a picture on Twitter today when he had like 40 woods on his bag.
Oh boy.
Traditional like any other.
But I think that's a case of course setup more than anything, trying to find something with the right loft and the right shaft and head that can maybe give him a couple shots out here, whether that be knocking it out of the rough or some tee shots, just trying to find
the right numbers.
Like, we don't know. Like he could have the same club with 4 different lofts on it. He's just trying to figure out what's the best for certain tee shots or for certain second shots. We have 2 par 5s that are both 630. Like, yeah, I don't know if you're going for those this week, but like you might need to tone something down if you are actually going to try to hit something on the green there. Couple other people I want to give shout out to. Anabran Lahiri. Like, I think he's playing almost good enough to be like to sneak onto like that 3rd or 4th tier. Like, I mean, obviously he's not someone who I would expect to win this week, but he's played good enough to maybe get a backdoor top 10 or a top 20 if the value's there. And then Jason Day's been playing some decent golf. Harold Varner, Keegan Bradley, all people that have showed form and have shown Harry Higgs. Like, I think all people that have shown form and also shown that they can win. Like, obviously Varner has not won, but he's been around the lead. Like, I mean, right, he shot like 81 at the PGA when Brooks won at Bethpage, but he's at least, he got himself in that final group. So Keegan Bradley's won a PGA, Jason Day's won a PGA. I think all people that if the value's right, it's people you can stick in a lineup or maybe even sprinkle something to win their matchup or top 20. Like, I think those are names that I'm looking at as well.
Yep. I agree. Joe, you got anything else on PGA this week?
I don't know. I'm slowly starting to regret not just picking Jordan instead of Scotty, but we're riding the wave with Scotty. He did say this is his favorite golf course. He's the number 1 player in the world. I got it. There's a good handful of guys that I like here a lot. I'm excited. I'm hoping the wind is blowing because that's when you see some really fun shots and everything like that. And I enjoy watching that. And you see some of the better players come out. I remember Justin Thomas. He was saying, like, after a tournament that he played with Tiger, like his first round, he asked him, like, what could I do better? And Tiger told him, like, you need to learn to play different shots, basically. Like, don't have one shape shot and play that all the time. And it was recently that JT won, and it was like really windy condition. It was that maybe it wasn't the one he won. Maybe even brought it up when it happened. It was when he shot that even par. I forget what tournament it was, but the wind was crazy. Tell me you guys remember what I'm talking about.
Players?
Was it the play? I think it probably was.
Shot-
The
Players was stupid win, but he shot like three under,
under,
which was like 7 better than the field average that day or
yeah,
something.
something like that. And like that's just what I kind of thought of because like I remember seeing the highlight reel. He's hitting them high, he's hitting them low, he's left. Like he just shaping the shot. And I just think of like the tip he got from Tiger. And I feel like that will apply to this week if the conditions are what they say they should be. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch. All the things we said about the golf course are mint.
Working on the knockdowns all winter. So, like I just got knockdown fever myself. And I just want to see knockdown after knockdown.
Knockdown fever. We should make a t-shirt with that.
Dude, the other day I went out. I played. I just had like a 4-iron, 4-iron, 7-iron pitching wedge, sand wedge, and a putter. I was just playing like the green tea. So like 10. I hit the most beautiful little stinger with that for. Oh my goodness gracious! Never forget it.
Let's Joey. We need a video of you. And it'll be a knockdown fever video, and we'll get like a little bar, like right out there. We'll put an alignment stick out there. Well, yeah, exactly. And we'll just be like, you got to knock it right. You start with a 4-iron, easy knock it down, keep it below, all the way to having to knock down like a lob wedge. From.
Dude, I can't do that. God damn. If anything, I'd like to get a limbo bar and just see how low I can. That'd be kind of fun. Let me get my new set of irons in my bag and let's start working. So that's the one thing. Like my 3-iron, it's not really a driving iron anymore. So I'm like kind of excited about that. I feel like I'll be able to kind of get a little more aggressive with it because it doesn't have that fat sole in the back. But I also realized it's an inch shorter than my current 3-iron. So So I'm gonna test it out, see what happens, and if it sounds a little wonky, I might just add an inch. Because that's a mile per hour of speed basically. So I might lose a couple yards. I don't like that. So.
Well, I mean, if they're switching you from a driving iron to a regular iron, do you still have like a 2-iron or something?
No. The driving iron was my 3-iron.
Do you have a hybrid or go right to 3-wood?
Right to a tree wood.
Your 3-iron now, you should like if they're switching from that 3-iron to this 3-iron, you're trying like theoretically, right? You're trying to like hit it in the air more, have a little more control versus like getting as much out of it as possible.
It's not that. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I think I'll be okay. I think I'm just over.
You'll figure it out.
Go ball.
All right, boys. Giancarlo?
Aaron Judge.
Another one.
Home runs tonight now. And his first shot of the day should have been a home run, but it wasn't because the Orioles are bullshit pussies and had to extend their fence. Idiot.
On that note, cheers to the PGA Championship week.
Cheers. John Daly kicks us off. 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Southern Hills Country Club, ESPN Plus. Let's go.
Get your Diet Coke and your cigarettes ready, folks. Let's get it.
Cam Smith gets it done this week.
Woo! All right. Cheers, boys.
Fellas.